Alright, so here we go. Welcome to patch 12.17, the penultimate patch before Worlds. This is actually a shorter patch schedule than normal. Normally it's patch 20 that they do, but it looks like 12.18 will be Worlds. With Worlds being played on 12.18, this is the last opportunity for us to introduce larger scale changes without significantly changing the current state of meta and pro play. Then they get to make one little adjustment. This patch will be focusing on pulling some power out of picks that have been dominating, like Seraphine. Playoffs throughout the world. That said, we also have quite a few buffs for champions that haven't been seeing as much play recently, as well as larger scope updates to champions like Maokai and Hecarim. Without further ado, to Worlds we go. So what they're talking about is the ebb and flow of champion balance, and if a champion peaks over 52.5%, they have to nerf it. If it's under 50, if it's under 47.5, I want to say, or under 48.5, they buff it. And then if it's 90% presence, 95% presence in a major tournament, then it always gets nerfed. And if it's 0%, then it's in line for a buff. So they use these like metrics of how much is this champion actually doing without being very objective about it, and they don't try to mess around with opinions. TFT is launching its new mid-set, Uncharted Realms, which brings more dragons, more treasure, and more. All right, that'll be cool. We'll check that out too. Nerfs. Oh man, why did it here? They puffed Renekton. What did they think was going to happen? Come on, guys. Sivir getting nerfed across all levels of play. Sylas has been everywhere and the number one picked champion. Taric actually drawing a nerf, which is incredible to me. Trundle and Wukong, these guys were just the best performing guys. Ahri was just super stable, so everyone's been picking Ahri, even though she's just fine. Camille is one of those champions that was super strong, got nerfed, was down below, and is now due for a buff. So it's on the same track as Kai'Sa, where it just constantly gets buffed in time for Worlds. Largely an exciting champion. Twisted Fate, same thing. It was almost 100% presence. It got nerfed into oblivion. No one in solo queue should have been picking Twisted Fate, but it got buffed. Kassadin is actually a super strong counter pick, so if it's getting buffed, this will be very interesting. Same thing, Misfortune's been a strong bot laner. Ezreal needed it because why play Ezreal when you can play Zeri? And then other champions, Rel getting a buff too, so we'll see. All right, let's see it. Ahri, charm duration decreased early, so 1.4 to 2 becomes 1.2 to 2. This is because since this is the spell that you max last, you're only getting your second rank in this at level 12. So by then, they're hoping that basically for the game from 13 and under, this is going to be a slight nerf to the champion. This sort of thing does throw off pro play big time because they're used to that. 0.2 of a second matters. It matters for exactly whether or not they can get another attack in before they cancel the animation and get their chain CC up. Azir, AP scaling decreased, cooldown increased on W. Wow. E cooldown increased. Wow. Why did you need to do this? The Emperor of the Sands can quickly become the Emperor of mid lane and pro play when he's too powerful. We're reducing the safety of his laning phase and bringing down his late game scaling so that he maintains his identity as a hyperscaler but without going too hard. Wow. Alright, let's see how much it was. Oh, 5% AP on the soldier. Actually, that's per attack, so when you're getting multiple attacks and when you're getting sequences of two soldiers attack, dash, attack again, like that's quite a bit. Cooldown is going up a second at early ranks. So you're still maxing this by 12, so you should be okay. E shifting sands, 3 seconds extra on the cooldown. So you only get this once per wave now. You have to be very careful. This champion, very hard to play in solo queue. And in pro play, this window right here, this 22 seconds means that you can repeat gank. And basically you gank three times in a row should take care of it. But we'll see. The Sand Soldier, just this damage going down, I think this is a bigger nerf than they realize. Camille, passive shields increased. This is where the pros use her in lane. They use the passive shield expertly. E damage increased. Camille is currently a couple of other prominent picks in the top lane. We're giving her a little extra engage and trading power so that she has an opportunity to shine when the conditions are right, but she will be kept in check by champions that counter her. Percent HP shielded, up 3%. This is every 12 seconds. Damage on the hook shot is up by 20. 20 at rank 1. Okay. And 15% bonus AD. That's actually fairly large. That's fairly large. So early game, you can expect an extra 35 damage on your hook shots. That's a lot. Definitely gonna have to spin her around a little bit. E cooldown decrease. This was an undoing of a buff from before. Oh, a nerf from before. 28 seconds was just too long. Now every time you hit Q, right, it reduces, but still too long. Q cooldown decreased. R base damage increased. Why does Graves need anything? This is, I mean, across solo queue, people are still picking Graves and doing well. The current jungle meta favors engaged style fighters. That's true. That bring a lot of CC and utility to help their teams, and Graves hasn't been able to compete. So we're giving Graves a bit more power and clear speed to help him find his niche in the jungle once again. The Q cooldown means you can use this on every wave, on every creep. Let me pull up the chat here. The dog. That's a loud bark, huh? There we go. That's where we can see chat. All right, so Graves has fallen behind the crowd control junglers and the engaged junglers. So they're buffing up his damage. Q cooldown. Oh, the cooldown is up early and down later. Okay, so it's his first max. That means he's going to spike a little bit more at 7. R collateral damage 250 to 550 goes up 25 damage. The ratio is the same. Okay, so around level 6, when you're looking to scrap earlier with Graves, and they were very careful to not give him extra spells at level 3 and 4. But let's see, is it the same? Yeah, it's the same at 5. So at 5, it's the same champion. It's a little bit weaker at 4 and at 3. Your first clear might be slightly slower, and this seems perfectly tempered. This is a good patch for this. All right, totally fine. I'm down with the Graves changes. He might make it in, especially if you have double enchanters being meta at Worlds. So then the champion like Graves becomes strong because you want that carry. But generally, you want the fighters more than him. He's kind of halfway marksman, halfway fighter. All abilities adjusted on Hecarim. Hecarim hasn't been the most stable champion for the past few seasons, either being a dominant pro jungle or an underwhelming in solo queue. He's also been horsing around with a variety of builds ranging from tank, assassin, fighter. We believe a Hecarim that's more bruiser fighter, focused on both, more rewarding to play, will be less pro skewed. To that end, we're saddling Hecarim with some Q and W adjustments that should help his synergies with fighter items. We're also lowering his base utility and damage to reduce his strengths as a pure tank. These changes should lead to more damage-oriented Hecarim builds. Interesting. Alright, base armor down. HP growth down. Q rampage. God, they worked every ability. 5% more AD and lower raw damage at high levels. Q damage per stack goes up on per stack. 1 second. Ooh, the cooldown per stack. All right, this is important. Max number of stacks, 3 instead of 2. So you can start helicoptering a little bit more. Stack fall off, 1 stack per second at duration end. Okay. Mana cost, that's if you don't hit anyone. And the mana cost is being leveled at 30. It's not going up. Okay, this is a big deal. That's going to be a lot of Qs. Cooldown on Spirit of Dread going down, so he just has it more often. Gains a new ability. Hecarim gains bonus stats while this is up. Holy moly. Okay, interesting. This is a very big change. They're just putting the free stats into his W, just like every other champion, like Neela and Gwen. Okay. So Andy's healing, and it has a shorter cooldown. That's a major change. Why do they think that this isn't good for tanks? I don't know. Devastating charge, minimum damage. These have like their ratios. All right, goes down by a tiny bit. A little bonus AD. Max damage, this will be the big one. Base numbers are the same. Tell them. All right, 100%, just 10%, not bad. Minimum knockback, 150. maximum knockback. All right, so you can't fly them into your team anymore, so they're just shrinking everything on the knockbacks. Sometimes that's good, especially when you're chasing into a turret, for example. And the cooldown, 18 at all ranks. Interesting. It's always interesting when they flatline the cooldowns. So you'll be able to giddy up around the map. It's still gonna be QWQ. Your QWQ start is actually gonna be a better clear. You can get more stacks on the chopper. The cooldown's going to be shorter. You're going to start spinning through the jungle. So your first clear is going to be exceptional on Hecarim. The devastating charge early clears is not making a difference, and in fact, this is a buff to the clears, a little bit less wasted travel time. So his hyper farming is going to be exceptional. That means that this champion's probably going to be insane. We should be able to get through a jungle, probably no leash, pre 315. I'm guessing. I think that will be the case. If we go wolves into blue and Gromp, we'll have to test it out. Let's test it out right now. I could use my E to get around the map faster, but I think double Q is still better. So I'm going to go like this. Finally drop our stacks. Now the question is, when do I turn on the W? It's probably after the second. No, it should have been right away. Because I think it's going to outlast. No, it doesn't outlast the second one. Okay, so I definitely wanted it as I was doing the next charge. So that's okay that we lose those right there. Perfect, because it lets us keep this. Look how fast that is. Alright, so solo clear. That's not bad, not bad. 330. We're running out of mana. That's no good. That might just disqualify this run. Alright, running through the jungle. How much mana do we get? 5 mana every half second. I bet I can actually tag this guy along here. Yeah. Alright. So that was a missed opportunity last time as well. Okay, so we do survive with the mana cost. And we're out basically the same time. So if you're below plat, you know, just keep on accepting the leash. It's fine. If you're a plat and above, and especially diamond and above, definitely take this by yourself and definitely take the solo camps. All right. Oh, the onslaught. We never covered this. Fear duration 3/4 to 2, based on distance traveled, to 3/4 to 1.5. So the fear, which is the big tool for pro play. So they increased the farming speed, everything about the kit's a little bit better. The E, less knockback, and the fear, there's less fear. So they took out some of the crowd control and gave him some of the fighting. It'll be interesting to see which build, but it does look like a fighter build is going to be the best. Casted and Q cooldown decreased, mana cost decreased. That's beautiful. Casted is typically found to play as a counter pick into mages, so we wanted to lean into that. That's like the third time that they've said that. By giving him additional power going into those tough matchups, now he should be able to find some success getting those castle wins. Cooldown down by a second at all ranks. Mana cost down by 10 at all ranks. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could run out of mana pretty easily. You definitely have to play a defensive pre-6 with Kassadin, although, you know, they can screw up, but usually it's 2 points in Q and then max out your E for the wave clear. Maokai completely adjusted and a lot of new abilities. That's usually a good sign. Saplings no longer deal maximum % health damage. Sorry, that one just jumped out at me. Maokai has been all bark, and no bite, for quite some time now. We're hoping this tree will rediscover his roots in both the top lane and jungle without removing his ability to be support. I don't know, man. Passive, sap magic. Get it? Sapling. And tree sap. Getting hit by large jungle monsters now reduces sap magic's cooldown by 1.5 seconds per attack received. Okay, interesting. This might make it so you don't actually want to kite with this guy. You want to get hit. Each one will give it, because you're going to get that big heal off, so you're effectively keeping the same amount of health. You still want to get to your next camp quickly, but you'll actually come out healthier if you take the hits. The heal was 5 to 45, up to maximum health. Now it's 4 to 34. And, the max health number went up. Levels 1 to 17. Okay, so they basically gave it a higher cap. Bramble Smash. Damage down by 5. Early, but up later. Okay. Would you believe it? Q now deals % max health damage. Holy shit. Q now deals bonus damage to monsters. What? That's all monsters. That's like 1 Q. 2 Qs will probably clear the entire the raptors. We're going to have to check this out. E Sapling Toss. Right, they didn't touch the root on the W. E Sapling Toss no longer deals maximum % health damage. So if you are going to the jungle, no more reason to stack saplings. You used to put saplings in the beginning, middle, and far part of a bush, and that would let the jungler slowly walk them in, and you could give a leash from a long distance away. The base damage has been moved up by 35 at all ranks. And it scales off of bonus HP and AP. So the AP went down by 28%, but they added 6% bonus AP. So let's see. If with your 400 gold, you're getting 150 health, so that would be 9 extra damage. Or you're getting 20. You're getting 20 AP. So they'd be getting 8.5 extra damage. So you actually get more damage on this ability, scaling wise, from bonus health than you do from AP. So Demonic Embrace will still be great. But you know, just from this ability, Demonic Embrace will still be great, but the health now will make it so you scale extra on this. All right, Empowered Brush damage, 85% AP. Wait, it used to be 40 to 90 with a max health. Right, so they get rid of a huge amount of scaling from this. And then 1.4% target maximum health. But now they're dealing it off of just raw damage. Now it's 12% of your bonus HP which is going to be similar to their maximum health as far as total ratios. 85% on the AP ratio. I mean, 85% AP on one of these things hitting is a big deal. And this has 50 damage and it's 110 at the beginning. So casting this in the bush, getting hit by these in the bush in the early game now is going to completely crush. Minions no longer take empowered brush damage from saplings. Okay, alright, so you can't wave clear with it though. Mana cost down 15 at all ranks. That's huge. Slow amount goes up. This champion's going to be insane. Nature's Grasp. Missile initial speed up by 100, up by 50. Missile maximum speed. This is based on the movement, I believe. Missile acceleration. Make like a tree and GTFO. Maokai gains 40, 50, 60% movement speed that decays over 2 seconds upon hitting enemy champion. So if you hit one, you'll be able to gap close. Beautiful. Wow, this champion's great. This champion's going to be great in all roles. You know, it's funny. Even you could go and dirty farm from top lane. And when you dirty farm, you're going to get your sap magic back. So you basically can get all your health back. You're doing percent max health off of your Q, which you're maxing. It's not going to be that much to a Gromp, for example. But it also deals all this bonus damage. So let's say you're dirty farming and it's dealing 100. Let's see. It's now dealing 200, 300 damage per Q, plus 2.75% of their max health. You cast this 3 times, they're dead. So it should only take about 9 seconds to clear Gromp with Maokai while staying full health. So a little dirty farming, something that your jungle you might want to let know. Be like, hey, I plan on taking some camps and see if they can adjust their path. All right, Misfortune. Man, a lot of abilities here. Q base damage increased late, cast time adjusted. That if it's equal to your attack speed now, that would be a fantastic change. That was a long time needed. W mana cost decreased, attack speed bonus increased, E cooldown increase, base damage decreased. Okay, so they're taking power out of the E and moving into the attacks. AP scaling increased. Slow now scales with AP. All right, so they're actually... So Misfortune was an awful pick as a support for 8 years now. But basically in the season... No, maybe it was 6 years. Season 6 World Championship. That's when Rox brought the Misfortune out as a counter pick. No, was it SKT? Must have been SKT. They brought Misfortune out as a counter pick to Zyra, right? Because the Q would single tap the flowers and proliferate and double its damage going to the next target. Also, the E's would wipe out all the flowers. Now, it no longer does either of those things, and people are just picking Misfortune support to pick Misfortune support. Well, long last, we actually have Misfortune support abilities. She has always been able to flex into crit, attack speed, or lethality builds. Recently, her crit builds have been a bit weak, while her lethality builds opt into spamming E in lane instead of utilizing her double up, which makes sense, except E has AP scaling. We're looking to make her crit attack speed builds hit a bit harder, while incentivizing lethality builds to use Q as the preferred harass tool. Interesting. All right, physical damage, 20 to 120, so up. Same ratios. Cast time. Ooh, okay. All right. It used to be a quarter second. Now it matches your base attack speed. So, your base attack time. I wonder if that's going to be the total thing. You should have there should be a canceling moment that you can do this. So, Q move command should be better. You should be able to go auto Q still and cancel either one with either one. I'll have to double check on those. W strut, mana cost goes down and attack speed. This is big. Level 1 got better. 10% at all ranks. This is the ability you should bring to lane. In any case that's not tier... If it's not tier Scorch, then you bring this to lane. Make it rain. Cooldown going way up at max rank, so they really don't want you to slow it unless you're a support. Full damage, 8 ticks. Going down, but gaining 20% AP scaling. And the slow, just going to 50%. Plus 4% per 100 AP. So if you're a 2-item support, for example, and you're rocking 190 AP, That's 8%. You're getting a 60% slow off of this ability with just one rank. This seems like a one-shot wonder. You don't really care about the damage. You care about applying the slow. You care about the damage over time, that it applies more stacks of your Liandry's, for example. Interesting. Interesting. I think this one's always hard. Like, this one's guaranteed, but against good laners, whenever you cast Make It Rain, they know that they can just attack you, versus when you have Strut, they can't go on you. So, at the highest levels of play, this is a huge difference. This extra 10% is going to make a big difference in the laning phase. We'll see how that plays out. Nami E Electrocute interaction removed. Removed an interaction where application of Nami's E would count towards proccing Electrocute. E and its applications will now only count as a single spell cast for the effects such as Electrocute. So yeah, she actually needs to get down and dirty. Okay. That's a huge nerf. He got the extra stats from being buffed at level 1. It's a plus damage and a slow. Like, everything was broken about this. So this lane was just too strong. Part of her win rate was being paired with Lucian too. So being able to move this so that they can't just quick proc it, you actually need to go in E, probably an auto attack and a W. If you want to get Electrocute off, there's just better options. You're better off going Aerie now. Nocturne base attack speed increased, which means your passive's going off. Passive cooldown decreased, which also means your passive's going off. So attack speed ratio, this means that his attack speed, that's what everything procs off of. So when you're buying attack speed items, they'll now be more useful. So something like Stride Breaker, probably going to be exceptional on Nocturne. Gives a little bit of attack speed. You show up, you slow them. Keeps them in range for the fear to go off. Yeah, this is fantastic. Left out of the dark, I don't know if that's true. Nocturne's been a fantastic pick. Turning off the lights is still something that pros are getting better at. So I expect Nocturne to make a presence. This is going to affect the clear speed big time. And probably enough. This is probably more than Hecarim, to the point where I want Nocturne over Hecarim in my solo queue games. It'll go into the rotation with Amumu. Rel W dismounted movement speed increase. Hey, that's a big difference. That's 30 move speed after you crash down. That's because this champion is not forgiving to learn on. When you make a mistake and you cast Ferromancy crash down at the wrong time, you just die. So now you have a lot more agency to get at. That's like having an extra brown boots. E, attract and repel, cooldown down to 13 seconds, which means at rank 1, you can cast it twice in lane, which means you can get it off twice in the fight. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal. And the fact that after she crashes down, she can still reposition for the stun, that's a big deal. Still an enormous counter pick with a Q into shields, being able to break shields. Anyone that's trying to do like a shield bash engage sort, Rel is the counter too. Renekton, Q-based damage decreased, AD scaling increased. Renekton is back to his old ways of being a dominant, blind pickable champion in top lane. Yep, that's because that's what you gave him. Not only can go head-to-head with the strongest melee champions, but can also dominate ranged opponents because he has double gap close. We're decreasing his damage output, especially when he's not itemizing AD, to give other champions some space to play. So damage down by 5, all the way up to 25, but 100% bonus AD. So if you can get more than 100 AD in your build, this will now be higher. So Q actually goes up. Furious damage. This is basically level 2 and 3 is when he's been crushing it. So it's down 10 at that moment, but again up another 20% on the bonus AD. So the scaling, improved scaling for the second patch in a row on Renekton. Definitely exploitable level 1. Not going to threaten you at level 2. Still lethal at level 3 with his combo E in, stun, Q, dash out. But the scaling on this champion is actually significantly stronger. This is a buff. Why do they think that this is giving people more room? It's because you need to buy that first item. Alright, so in laning phase, some space to play. I get it. I get what they're saying. A little bit weaker so like levels 3 to 9, more or less. After level 9, he'll have more than 100 AD after, let's say he goes Gore Drinker and Caulfield's Warhammer. he'll be sitting at 100. So, all right, at that point is when the Q will be doing as much, and then for the rest of the game, he's just stronger. Uh, Man, still has a lot of the strength, still has the best gank setup from top lane, has more scaling now. This is gonna be a tough pick to compete with. This is a buff overall. It really is. So solo queue for sure. For sure. Pick up your Renekton's, sleeve them up, put them in the deck. It's time to play. Set WAD increased, E slow increased. So when you slow but you don't stun, it's up to 70%. And Haymaker, 20 up 5% on your AD build. Set hasn't been gaining much face time in the top lane, especially given the amount of tanks we're seeing. He should be a strong matchup into. Yep, it's true. We're increasing his damage and reliable CC to help this boss beat down his opponents more effectively. Lane Kingdom, if you want Lane Kingdom, play Set. The fact that his slow is up to 70% on rank 1 on E means this is still a fantastic support pick. Definitely worth picking up. AD growth decreased, W bounce AD ratio decreased. Quality of life losses for Sivir makes sense. Silas, base health decreased. Q cooldown increased. Q cooldown means that less passive hits as well. So this is a big nerf to the damage output, especially since you are getting this off twice in late game fights. Base health down by 20, and the rank 1 cooldown up by a second. So a little bit, much bigger window to attack this champion in lane. Already has a weak laning phase, early lane, now is exploitable. Taric, base magic resist decreased, E cooldown increased. I have to read this. Taric has been a little too dazzling in the bot lane recently, excelling at healing and crowd control in addition to being too durable. We're making it a bit less stunning, by reducing the uptime of his stuns, and making a bit more susceptible to poke in losing matchups, which is his magic matchups. He's usually a counter pick into armor sets. He's still exceptional. That's interesting that they're calling it the bot lane, which is true because Senna Taric, Sona Taric, Seraphine Taric are all fantastic lanes, especially Senna and Sona. Trundle, W cooldown increased at all ranks. Makes sense. Ooh. Youch. Okay. Yep. Less likely that he casts it twice in one fight. Q AP ratio up by 10. Pick a card. Mana cost down by a lot later, actually. So less likely that you need to use blue cards to farm up mana, but this brings him back to playable. It's still not a strong solo queue champion. If map control and map movement is your thing, then this champion is playable again, but still, very weak to ganks, very weak to all-ins. Assassins crush him. You need to really be on your game if you play this. Base attack speed decreased. That's huge. Base move speed decreased. Also huge. This is going to impact his clear speed significantly and his ability to get in gank position. As opposed to the King of the Monkeys, Wukong has been the king of the jungle in pro play for quite some time. We're looking to dethrone him by bringing his early clear down a few pegs and reducing his ability to move around the map. Yep. Stopwatch. Since its introduction, Stopwatch has been a powerful item, not only in solo queue, but especially in pro play with the extremely low ping. We're increasing its purchase price so that if it's bought as a one-time use, it'll set players back. Yep, that's probably a good change. Perfect timing. All right, so they made it 750. I'm sure that they changed all the costs to combine this. No, they didn't. They just gave 5 damage to this, and it's more expensive, and you have to go. Wow, so 2,200 more gold to get 5 more attack damage. Damn. Seeker's Arm Guard, ability power, finally. This item was so bad for so long. They're finally making it okay. So now you can start picking it again as a mage into ADs, and you should. Right, just spend the 1,000 gold. Sonya's Hourglass, cost going up 4,000, ability power by 15, and ability haste. So, 400 is going up by. Not worth it as far as total costs go, but it is just going to be a better item. So less supporty, more actual punch. You don't have to feel bad about putting it in your endgame build. ARAM, no thanks. Ultimate Spellbook, no. Behavioral systems. Over the last 8 months, we released our new feeding detection model, We have gained the confidence that allows us to make significant adjustments to what we detect as intentional feeding. We expect an increase in detections and punishments of over 2 times. Like, hello. Intentionally feeding are 14 ban for the first transgression and a permanent ban for the second. Wow. Chat restrictions will be visible on the lobby screen for yourself and any party members. Interesting. So they'll see if you're chat restricted. Honor restrictions applied to your account will be visible on your profile with a lock iron. Nice. Competitive Summoners Rift ranked queue matchmaking will now focus more on players' MMR. What? Finally? What? Isn't this what it always did? It was supposed to always be your MMR. It wasn't supposed to be a match of anything. You're just supposed to pair with people in your same matchmaking rating. Okay, well, that's good. It should have been there already. Noxus Cup Clash. Looking forward to it. If you watch this video, send me a message on Discord at Giga Gaming Academy #1599. If you send me a message and reference this moment right now, you can get 50% off for your team doing a Clash practice. So let me know. Hit me up. Challenges. Global defense system has been added. Bug fixes. Let's see. Sometimes these have something. Normally they put them under the champion if it's a bug fix that changes something significantly. But most of these say that they're bugs. They're not just something that was happening. So we can check for your champion if it's in here. But otherwise it shouldn't show up. We've got some nice skins. King Viego, that looks fantastic. This looks fantastic. Zenith Games. I love it. Jace looks kind of the same to me. We'll see what the animations are, but these guys look cool. They're kind of like amplified, augmented champions, and King Viego looks sweet. There's some cool chromos to these. All right. And that's it. All right, that's the patch notes. So, what do you think? Who's going to be the top champions in meta? How's the meta going to shift with this patch? The ones that jump out to me in the top lane, if you're a Renekton player, go for it. If you want to pick up Rell, you've been meaning to practice it, go for it. She's still very, very difficult, so anticipate taking 50 games in. Nocturne and Hecarim both got their clear speeds amped up. Wukong got it knocked down. Still expect to see a lot of Vi. Vi can be strong into Nocturne as a counter. Let the Nocturne jump in, then you jump in after, kind of hold him down. Support Misfortune. I still don't play it, but if it's your thing, it got buffed, maybe you can make it a thing. If you do, let me know in the comments. Maokai is the champion I'm itching to play. This seems insanely strong. We're going to go check out the pathing. Kassadin got a little love. Ezreal got a little love. Camille, some love. Azir, I didn't feel like needed this big of a change. But that's it. That's the rundown. I'll see you guys on the Rift, all right? If you like this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot, and I'll catch you guys next time. Good luck.